On both sides. And speaking of changes in terms of compositions, instead of a Harbor that we will be seeing, it is the Cypher para dito kay Taiki. I have not seen a Cypher in so long, and here we go.
I have yesterday. I believe it was ZOL Ragnar as well who pulled it out. Taichi has already played yung Cypher dito sa Breeze.
Yeah.
And what they do is they leave him doon sa may B o kaya kahit doon sa may A site where somebody's also like holding yung mid doors area. Basta yung focus nila lagi nasa mid. Laging anywhere else but the B site or wherever Taichi wants to be. They want him to be independent. Dahil kayang-kaya ni Taichi has been known to hold sites on his own din naman since he is the central player and he's been doing a stellar job at it. The fact that they also pick up that Viper is something that we don't really need to note, but I also want to touch up on na parang okay lang din naman na may pick up din na lang si Harbor, but he's a little bit too weak. You can pair him up with the Viper here, but Viper is something that yun parang standalone requirement lang naman nila kung magbe-breeze lang din naman sila, diba? So no need to be overly creative with that. You have the investments na lang dun sa double initiator comp na pwedeng kunin ng mga teams natin dito. That is something na very popular sa lahat ng teams na pwedeng maglaro sa Breeze. Double initiator comp, mas madali kayong makapag-take ng space if you want to support your duelists with these utilities alone. Flashes, nandoon pa rin, nandito din yung info para makakuha kayo ng napakagandang chance na ma-secure yung site dito. So ZOL Esports, they did the homework, and to nullify yung usage ng utilities itong si Cypher, gamitin nyo na yung double initiator comp nyo, diba?
Yeah, exactly. And it is because it has become a standard already naman anyway, right? Breeze has got so many angles, the sites are so big, so it's basically become a necessity for you to have two initiators to ma-minimize man lang or mabawasan man lang yung mga angles na meron tayo dito, especially on the attack or on those retake situations. Pero yeah, one of the things that I would like to point out as well is having a Cypher on the one hand against Georgie could be what slows Georgie down enough for ZOL Ragnar to pounce here for Built Esports, but we'll have to wait and see how that's going to work out. I do love the changes to Cypher though. I feel like a lot of players can capitalize on yung bagong double proc ng ulti niya, no? If you're one of those players that's just so good at timing, you can play around that so well. And of course, yung increase sa range ng trapwire niya, no? It's made the way for so many new so many tactics and so many new strategies para dito sa Cypher. Can't wait for Cypher to become a sort of standard sa mga pro games natin, but this is a pretty good start here. Also, let's see if this is gonna be the start for ZOL Ragnar. Can they get the reverse sweep going dito against sa ating defending champs of VxV? This is the game where we'll find that out.
Wala dito si Osiris pero kino-call out mo na. Pwede mo nang i-call natin yung reverse sweep potential para sa ZOL Ragnar. Kayang-kaya. Kasi gising na si Ray kanina pa at pinapanood na siguro itong matchup na to. Now, ZOL Ragnar on the attacking side. This is their map pick, so they definitely know how to take this as perfectly as they can. But since ZOL Esports chose to be on defense, it means they have something brewing dito. So a mid-push already set up by Papi Chulo. Alam nila na baka sa elbow manggagaling ang ZOL Ragnar. They have to be ready. Nag-swing out na agad si Jumps at nakakuha ng first blood itong si Ja para sa ZOL Esports. So 1-for-1 trade. Si West nakahabol, nakapasok, namatay kay Aziz. Tatlo bigla para sa ZOL Esports. Tatlo din ang napatay ni Ja into the 1-0, and ZOL Esports nag-start agad ng napakalakas sa ating Breeze map. Ganito pa lang sa first round natin.
Alam mo, I was about to say that was a pivotal flank mula dito kay Papa Chula. When he went down, I thought it was going to be ZOL Ragnar taking over the round, but they turned it right around with triple hold down in the sights. Beautiful start here for South Built. Sobrang ibang-iba na mula sa start ng game number 1 natin, and this is not the starts that ZOL Ragnar definitely is looking for. And that mid priority for South Build still paying off despite being the rocky start, as I mentioned nga kanina, no? But here we go, Georgie Marshall, one taps, all it takes, but Shintaro with the double classic headshot. Nakuha pa niya yung Marshall niya dito. They can aggress further into A sites, but maybe they're looking for potential aggressiveness mula dito sa South Built Esports. They were pretty aggressive in that first round, but Ja with the one tap, West goes down.
already mitigated yung utility netong si Sova when they were trying to cross onto mid. That was the one chance that Georgie had para mahanap niya si Shintaro dito. But he never got the timing here. So a really good shot from Papi Chulo. A second galing dito sa South Built. A double for Pro. ZOL Ragnar, they're losing out on the timing ulit dahil sa buy na meron tayo dito for South Built Esports. A triple kill for our players of South Built ngayon. So a strong start sa ating Breeze map. And you saw that proactiveness from Georgie. He really wanted to get that first blood ruling. The fact that hindi nakakuha ng anything out of that first blood is all Ragnar. They were just stuck in mid and they had nowhere else to go but there.
Exactly. Pro with another big round though. Just a ghost. Enough to net him off 3 kills. So South Built this time no, nanip nila yung aggression ng Ragnar before it even begins. So they're prepared this time for the early game shenanigan of ZOL Ragnar dito. Denied immediately off that speed in this first half. The question still stands, can they pivot that further into round number 3 like they did the second half of Ascent earlier? Georgie playing with a little bit of information off the recon dito sa middle side. Tailwind is active, dashes on to safety, and for the most part, so South Built playing this defense pretty standardly apart from the aggressive angle from Papi Chulo all the way down into a cave. Pero mukhang walang pupunta, wala siyang maririnig dito. ZOL Ragnar working their way up towards B.
Parang nakita ko na yung ginawa nitong Viper nung dito sa round na to But in the previous series, he already got a very pivotal kill. But this time, the focus is on B. So ZOL Ragnar, they got the read. Ja, though, he only has a classic, pero natutap niya si Shintaro. 1-1, pero ZOL Ragnar, they got the perfect 2 picks para ma-open up yung B side. And they already got a lot of time para ma-secure yung objectives, so they just have to be patient. They don't need to over-aggress. Joms, though, he has a very wide angle, and Georgie, he's picking up yung frags dito sa ZOL Ragnar, pushing it onto the side, into the crosshair of Joms. Unfortunate para sa South Belt, pero at least they're climbing out of the depths into the 2 versus 2. Pro, he has the Guardian. He's not guarding. He wants to be on the offense. Si Joms na try na lang i-jump peek para may info sila para makapag-double peek ang ZOL Ragnar. Push out using that 0 point dito. Papi Chulo, he's running on down towards that A side, or B side actually, as Josh F. He finally finds Pro dito sa 1v2 natin para kay Papi Chulo, who eventually will fall dito kay Joms. A perfect push dito sa B side as they were trying to invest in that retake scenario.
Yeah, but still a very expensive round for ZOL Ragnar. All things considered dito, that film, 3 people still went down, and that's mostly because of Georgie dito getting 2 kills with that Marshall. Made it so hard for ZOL to even get this post plant going in the first place. But still, ZOL, at least they were able to clean that mess up and get themselves on the board. But at what cost? Let's take a look at their eco dito. No, perhaps at least one member of theirs will not be hanging on to their assault rifle, which actually makes this round more of a gamble than an even looking round. But Shintaro, it seems like they're ready for that scenario, immediately pushing towards Hall. A lot of attention being made, a lot of noise being made. Classic execute to no, open the door, then dash into sight. But are they actually going to do for the same strat? Because Viper Wall ready for that exact encounter. Papi Chulo with an opening pick. Georgie gets another as well. ZOL Ragnar struggling to get into sight. Pero andito na yung South Built.
No, si Georgie nakapasok, naka-triple kill. As long as they have control of the site itself, the A hall push just does not hold water.
Yeah.
The fact that ZOL Ragnar, they did not get the tempo that they needed. Si Papi Chulo at saka yung hold doon sa mid doors, it was fruitful for them. Georgie even used the Viper Wall against his own enemy. At hindi na-expect tuloy ng ZOL Ragnar kung saan manggagaling si Georgie na naka-triple kill, giving himself that space para makapag-dominate sa ating ace site. Georgie is just popping off, and you know that he's a solid pickup for this team.
Yeah, exactly. He's been proving it over and over again the past 2 days and the past few weeks as well. And that really seems to be also true, lalo na dito. So VxV, no, Shintaro and the gang just forced to use as little of their eco as possible because they don't have any. Meron silang Blade Storm at least. So ito yung mga saving grace minsan pagka naka Blade Storm si Shintaro or any of their duelists. But this time he does make it big. Double headshot for the Blades. And suddenly, South built in a 3v4. Let's see kung may sasagot pa sila dito. Gun upgrades in the works for ZOL Ragnar, and they can just group up onto either side. And it seems like it's a pretty good idea to go for the B hit this time. It's just one person into there. And Drom's actually opening up A. And South built kept guessing saan ba magpupush yung ZOL Ragnar.
Yeah, I mean, the early info from the neural theft pa lang, alam na alam kung saan pupunta ang South built na fake agad dun sa B-side because of the Viper wall. But they're biters, man. South built nag-respond agad sa B, binigay yung space sa ZOL Ragnar, kinuha ang A site, at may free time sila para makapag-plant din ng spike. So the numbers in the favor of ZOL Ragnar, and they even got the spike plant as well. Aziz to get that first kill dito sa post-plant natin. Taichi, he has the up, nagpe-push pa rin, pero ang Viper, he was lucky enough to dodge away from the shot. Josh F, the one tap onto Aziz, but Papi Chulo just running on down on the other side of Pyramids. A 1 versus 2. Papi Chulo, the only man standing, forcing the 1v1 after a clean shot papunta kay Taichi. He has to contest against the Viper's pit.
Oh no.
Josh Epp navigating himself into the shadows, but Papi Chulo, he's the assassin. He's waiting behind him. He's looking towards getting this clutch against ZOL Ragnar, but a really good shot into the chest of Josh
No
Epp.
time.
It's the clutch, but it's not enough time para kay Papi Chulo, so ZOL Ragnar played them like a fiddle.
The Globe at home 50 para dito sa ZOL Ragnar. South built unable to win that round despite the heroics mula dito kay Papi Chulo, no? Sobrang linis ng ginawa niya dito. Unfortunately, the Viper's pit from Josh F played to perfection dito. And he was just so much composure yung pinakita dito ni Josh F in that 1v1 with the Vipers. Kahit nakailang tap dito si Papi Chulo on that 1v1, hindi pa rin siya lumabas. Hindi siya na-bait out. And pros do fake sometimes, and Josh F, he knows that. Now though, 3-2, ZOL Ragnar keeping it close but still unable to get the advantage as the execute happening into that B site. Shintaro with an opening pick opens up pillar into B site, so that's an easy plant for Josh F.
Napakadali lang para sa ZOL Ragnar. As long as they get the only anchor on B, then they can open themselves the B site for free.
Oh no, Georgie.
Already finding Georgie ngayon. It's going from bad to worse para sa Built Esports. The fact that they lost away this timing, yung pag-defend ng B site as a whole, it's now giving themselves this retake scenario where Papi Chulo is now on the back lines. But ZOL Ragnar, they're focusing on towards the back. As ZOL Ragnar, they're winning on every front dito. Nahanap din yung flank at nag-iisa na lang si Ja para sa Built Esports. Bigla-bigla nawala na parang isang bulalang ang Built Esports. A flawless victory para manalo ang ating ZOL Ragnar dito.
Globe at home, flawless para sa ZOL Ragnar to take us into equal scoreline 3-3 on the scoreboard, and ZOL Ragnar looking pretty good on these side takes. Alam mo, napapansin
That was really quick. I gotta tell you that. For the push for ZOL Ragnar to recover onto B, Built Esports, they lost it, Nat. They lost the tempo that they needed. Bumalik sila sa kung saan sila naging komportable. Kahit nandito si Georgie, na-lose out agad yung tempo. Aziz though, oh man, the perfect timing. The one tap papunta kay Jumps. It was too messy, but eventually nag-recover. Pero si Shintaro ang babalik dito sa dalawang kills na meron sila. Tatlo na lang para sa mga players ng ZOL Ragnar. But Papi Chulo, he's there to answer. But at what cost? It's his life on the hands of Wes. It's the 1 versus 2. Diyan na kanina pang nasa E-main, pero habang tumatalon si Wes, bigla na lang nag-one-tap sa ulo kay Ja into the 4-3 man. And just like that, biglang kinuha ng ZOL Ragnar ang panalo against Built Esports, and now they're on the lead.
that round was just messy. It was so messy. Ja unable to get that kill, but Aziz with a great opener here sa middle side, no. And I mean, napapansin ako dito that Femina, no, when it comes to quick rounds, or when it's a quick execute, that's where ZOL thrives. When they get that speed going, yun yung mataas yung win percentage nila, eh. But when hard to drag, parang South built, pinapakita nila na ang galing nilang mag-adapt talaga, eh, when it comes to each and every round, and when it comes to these duels. And this is that round particularly that will be challenging for ZOL, because they can't just go for the quick rush anymore, because South built back in a comfortable position in terms of weaponry, and ZOL Ragnar, they really have to balloon that advantage from the first half dito. Shintaro with trade onto Georgie as they push on into this B site. Yung isang natitira dito, Aziz having to use the Seekers will not net him of anything at all. That's ZOL swarming B site here.
It's another time para makapag-fail yung ating ZOL Esports to defend, but to respond to that, they got the Hunter's Fury, but a counter Hunter's Fury, West could actually have more value into this as Papi Chulo is melted off the face of the earth, forcing ZOL Esports to play this with their numbers disadvantage, but at what cost here? Ja, he's got the shot with that 2 to force the resistance coming out for the two CT-sided players. So ZOL Ragnar trying to play off the back foot here. The spike is in the open as well, so they need to retrieve that into the loving arms of Ja as well, who has the spike in his own vision. Pro is also waging war. Very close comfort para dito kay Pro, but ZOL Ragnar, they steal away the spike, but Taichi is the sacrifice. Pro is the ninja that slits the throat of West as he's trying to get the objective as well. And equalizing it against ZOL Ragnar eventually will be the pop-off for ZOL Esports.
Keeping it close for both of our squads here, 4-4, and again that round boils down to the fights. It was oh so close until the spike was laid out in the open for South Built to secure. Yung tour de force ginamit agad doon for Pro, and then the setup was just oh so hard to deal with for ZOL Ragnar. 4-4, and each and every round fought so hard for both of these squads. ZOL Ragnar, it's a struggle for them to keep that momentum going, and even started in the first place. Makes you wonder what the prospects of the next half of this game is going to look like. Josh F though,
and this was their map pick.
Exactly.
This was their map pick though.
Exactly.
You gotta take note that this was their map pick, their comfort. This is something that they needed to choose dito, but they're choosing to fight, and they're fighting with all of their hearts. With a 1-for-1, a trade onto the mid side, exchanging bullets yet again. Aziz is whiffing the shots. 2 bullets in the chamber, not needed dahil tatakbo na lang siya. Dahil nandito din si Pro until West punishes him sa mispositioning niya dun sa mid side. So 3v3 with the reset coming in. They could have the choice to either fight off against the double flank na meron sila para sa ZOL Esports. Si Papi Chulo na navigate, nahanap na si West, nahanap na niya yung dalawang players na doon sa My Snake. A 1v1, si Josh F na naka-triple, adjusting towards Ja. He just has to reclaim the spike para man lang makapag-regain composure ang ZOL dito. Pero Josh F, man, you have to wonder if he can contest against Pro. He just has to navigate him through. And just like that, the bullet to the chest, a 4K for Josh F.
Beautiful stuff here mula kay Josh F. And I gotta respect that attempt right there from the 1v1. But unfortunately, just 1 HP left meant that hindi talaga mapapalagan dito si Josh F on that last couple of seconds in this round. Pro, a decent attempt at that, but it's ZOL Ragnar, it's Josh F to prevail. That's still a thread though. Mind you that ZOL Ragnar still won that round by a thread. That's mostly because of just how unpredictable South Built has become in this defense. Just minimizing the amount of space that Ragnar can create for themselves dito. And again, they're looking for the same shenanigan. The aggressive push seems to be in the works here for South Built. The frenzy does not get Pro anything. Ja tries to be the hero with the headhunter, but unable again to translate. Jom's pressing on, so is the rest of Ragnar. Nice flash, and Shintaro and Josh have to open up A side completely.
For free. No casualties on ZOL Ragnar as they navigate themselves onto A site. And they only had the eco round here, so the only thing that they needed to do was to press on forward. Pero Pro had no assistance. Layo ni Ja. They could have double peaked para ma-surprise yung ating ZOL Ragnar players, but it was a little too late. Yung long angle na nasa up agad ni Ja, maybe that was the call. Maybe to figure out kung yung cave ay mapupush ng ZOL Ragnar. But as the saying goes, he definitely jumped the gun here. ZOL Ragnar getting themselves the 6th round win. You like that, huh?
Stole that from me. And I stole that from someone else. So.
You stole that from someone else. You got to be honest about that.
Yeah. But you know what they say, that yung how does the saying go? The worst enemy of a robber is... I don't know if that even is a saying. But here we go! 6-4 para sa ating game. ZOL Ragnar finally built themselves up a 2-round lead. Pero this is the exact same precipice that we found ourselves in Ascent, diba? This is exactly where, or rather, in the next round, this is exactly where we was in Ascent, right? They were able to push it further into a 7-5. Pero once the pistol was secured by South, it just kept on going for themselves. So the key for ZOL Ragnar this time is to not let that happen anymore. Double presence detected here by Ja and Georgie. So hindi na sila makakapag-push with that operator. As ZOL, they look to contest. Alam nilang may op dito, but they are fearless at all without any relents. ZOL Ragnar decides to press on, but Georgie welcoming them with open arms. Blades are active. The playmaker is here. Blades abound. Can Georgie translate to even more? Pero Ragnar, nag-rotate sila papuntang A, Dadfed.
Hindi talaga B-site yung gusto nilang kunin. Kukunin nila yung spike doon sa may A-site. At may Viper split pa sila. So even though they have the numbers advantage, basta ma-pick off si Aziz, okay lang. Kaso nag-whiff ng shot dito kay Wes. Nawala yung timing. Na-turn around yung tables dito papunta kay Wes. And ZOL Ragnar, they deal with very little numbers. Nakuha din ng Georgie. Itong si Taichi. So si Josh F, namatay din galing kay Ja. Running head top, galing sa headhunter. And the Predator will feast on ZOL Ragnar as they get their 5th round win.
Another globe at home flawless dito for the side of South Built Esports. But what was that flick from Ja? I just want to point that out. With
a running headshot
as well. It was running too. How is that even possible without any information on the Viper?
Pinakain ng headhunter.
Pero South Built Esports get themselves a little bit closer towards the 6-6 scoreline. Pero the key difference being is that they're slowly taking over this game. That fam, they're slowly asserting dominance. They're out-alphaing ZOL Ragnar right now. Is Shintaro's operator gonna be enough to press on here for ZOL Ragnar? That is the question here.
May peak si Papi Chulo. Ito yung opportunity for Shintaro to prove that his operator can have value into the round. But they're not letting up. They know that they can walk into very dangerous territory. But what about Pro? Now he's the one who's gonna step up to the plate. Konting sikot na lang pero hindi siya magpupush dun sa hull. So this default setup at nandoon yung proactiveness sa my B main. Kung saan yung close crossfire na meron tong si Georgie at si Ja. Again, yung duo na to ang gumagawa ng plays for South Built Esports. Sa sobrang passive ng ZOL Ragnar, they give away the space. So kapag nag-push itong attacker side natin, then ZOL Ragnar not gonna be, you're gonna be surprised about Georgie. That's one. There you go, Zoms. He's gonna get found out. 2 kills para sa South Built. Gawin natin 3. Ano, gawin natin pang 4. West peeking on down. Na-dink. Tuloy si Georgie. Nagpapush na si Josh F. Pero into the crosshair of Georgie himself. Nag-adjust, bumalik, nag-flick, at pumunta kay Aziz. Ang double kill for Josh F. Na natitira na lang para sa ZOL Ragnar. Pero nandito na si Pro. High hopes para sa South Built Esports as they equalize against ZOL Ragnar.
Ano nangyari? That clear na eh. Clear na ni Joms yung area just under the window, but they were unable to see that Georgie is still there. That's the moment that I'm talking about. They had a false sense of security kasi tumingin na doon sa area na yun si Joms eh. But I don't know what happened in that regard. Josh F with a decent attempt here for the 1vx, but hindi enough. It's just too much, too tall of an order for the Viper this time around, and it just fell apart. South Built getting themselves to the same spot that they were in for most of this first half, which is equal scoreline. ZOL Ragnar failed to get that advantage. Ngayon, sila na yung nasa defense, so their options a little bit limited when it comes to rotating around the map, but they have to try and get the advantage once more, with South Built looking pretty hot at their heels.
Super hot. Sobrang init. And it's off the back of Georgie. Always finding multi-frags every single time. A good fragment to at least disable yung ating drone para dito sa ZOL. Pero South Built Esports, they just get banged through the smoke dito sa mga players ng ZOL Ragnar. So an early 3 versus 5 bago pa man sila makalabas ng A main. Walang split push. It's all 5 players marching on down towards death. 2 ang namatay agad for South Built. Pero at least traded off immediately. 2 for 1 at nakuha ni Aziz itong KO of the members of ZOL Ragnar. So the slow push, definitely possible. Maybe to make presence na lang doon sa may B habang contest pa rin ng A-main ang ating South Built Esports players.
3v4 is a very awkward position for South Built. Still providing a lot of attention para dito sa A side to double spot there with the Trailblazer. Aziz picks off Josh F, and now they're pressing on, pero mag-isa lang si Aziz na nagpupush dito. Beacon is a little bit too late. Shintaro with the one-tap. Papichulo gives him back what he gave away. And Pro Papichulo not even needing his teammates. Leaving the Cypher in a 1v2 for ZOL here. Can he close the round here? Taichi, 49 HP left. Hindi na rin full HP dito yung mga members ng South Built.
Kaya pa to. Kayang i-one tap nitong si Taichi. Ano ba gamit niyan? Mukhang naka-ghost lang to. Kaso, triple kill ni Papichulo. Just to use the long-range angle na na-set up agad ng South Built. Pagkalabas ng mid doors, he was already dealt with a very sticky situation. So you cannot, you can't blame yung mispositioning nitong si Taichi. He was already dealt with a bad hand. At yung South Built, the perfect usage of them to try to at least climb back kahit na pick off na agad yung dalawang picks nila. That slow patience that they were needing, that they already know how to play against the top teams. Pinakita sa mga youngsters natin, and they bit off more than they can chew before they can get the round back.
Si Papichulo pa rin talaga yun. No? Siya pa rin talaga ang naging susi para sa round na yun. Pero na, Georgie nahuli dito at hindi man lang makakatakas. Shintaro puts him down. Pero Ja from the backline, instant trade. Shintaro na force magdash pabalik. Pero the wallbang isn't going to get the better of him. Ooh, nice tap from Pro Papichulo with the Bulldog. And dito na sa site, the plant is not done. It's denied by Joms. But what else can they do? They only have classics.
Si Ja yung done. Si Ja yung done. Mabuhay sa round na to. Si Aziz, hindi pa siya tapos. Pumasok na lang siya doon sa may lobby. And the fact that he got Joms, he doesn't know where everybody else is. At nag-iisa na lang ang Viper natin. Si Josh F na lang, nakalabas ng classic. He's just running on down in towards his inevitable death. At konti na lang, baka mapatay pa siya agad ng South Built dahil binigay na agad yung site sa kanila. They all got the long-range angle set up. The Bulldog to chew him out of this round. An 8-6 to climb off of the momentum that they built up from the previous round. Well done para sa South Built Esports.
Definitely. Pero itong 15th round na to, Dad Fem, I cannot stress how important this is. But the key thing for ZOL Ragnar is that all things considered, kahit sabihin natin na sobrang importante at medyo nawala na sila ng momentum, it's not too bad of a deal. 8-6, dalawa pa lang naman yung lamang dito ng South Built Esports, and that's what these players have to keep in mind. They have to not lose composure. They have to still stand their ground and just play to the best of their abilities. And that's really the question here for ZOL Ragnar. Is it past that point yet? I don't think so. But here we go. South Built going for the quick execute. ZOL Ragnar forced to retake. Pero Georgie playing around the smokes gets almost a second one as well. But West shuts him down.
Oh wow, what a dink. And that's important. As much damage done towards ZOL Ragnar into the bonus, it's more than enough. But can they pick it off? They get two picks dito. They got the rifle so they can contend long range. Shintaro, he can build off of his first kill papunta kay Aziz. But he cannot convert doon sa may mid. Pero doon na lang sa may doors kung saan nakita niya sa cave ang kanina pa niyang hinahanap na biktima. Papichulo with the right click.
1v1.
West to try to catch things off in a 1v1. Pero 2 HP in a dream. Nandun siya sa kanyang panaginip. Ja to pick up the last frag. To end it all up in a 9-6. It was so close before. It wasn't for South Built.
Yeah, South Built by the skin of their teeth, still securing that third round. That's disastrous here for ZOL Ragnar. One away para sa double digits para dito sa South Built Esports. And ZOL Ragnar facing the music. It seems like it's so close dito para makapag-match point yung South Built Esports. This is not yet too late of a game, but ZOL Ragnar, so it's looking like a huge task to overcome at this point. Wala silang weaponry. They have to try something bold here, and that they do. But it's immediately shut down. The Georgie at Aziz dito. Georgie, hindi pa niya nagamit yung tailwind niya. So he's making a lot of noise towards double doors. It's a war on both fronts that South Built has to press on further. Georgie will make his way towards behind the pyramids as he catches Joms, pants down, and the next on the chopping block, Taichi goes down as well. South Built is first on ZOL Ragnar.
I mean, they knew that they were on the low by anyway, so they just take advantage of that. They got the better gunfire, and Georgie being that proactive force para sa South Built, pushing on down to mid, kahit man lang nagkaroon ng picks ang ating ZOL Ragnar players, but they never expected to push out a quad push doon sa may mid doors pa lang na si Georgie yung nagdi-lead. Si Georgie na naman yung nagla-light up ng kill feed. na
talaga.
ulit-ulit nagkakaroon na agad ng proactiveness ang Southbuilt Esports because of how well this guy pushes, how well he takes his fights, and he's comfortable. He's in
Yeah,
the beach. And you
yeah.
know what the most popular beach is dito sa Pilipinas? Ang Boracay. At sino si
Boracay.
Georgie? Ang Boracay Jet, di ba?
Yeah. At home na at home talaga dito si Georgie. Dito sa Breeze. And of course, it seems like he is feeling very much at home as well. The South Built Esports, di ba? Fitting very well into the roster. It just shows this has just been the one game out of the many in the past few days that South Built have been consistently performing. And at the helm, if you take a look at it, it's Papi Chulo and Georgie and Ja and the entire squad right there with them. It's just so good to look at. Really excited for what South Built has in store for us for the rest of the days here and the next seasons as well. But for now, ZOL Ragnar is the one that is faced by this behemoth that is South Built right now. The biggest question is, is there enough left in the tank here for the boys, for the young guns as we've been playing, as we have been putting out here? And this is where that question is going to be answered, that fam. 6-10, and the first opening frag is going to be so important. Dito Ja taking a gander at his chances, getting tagged, but nobody going down as of yet.
Man, they take it as slow as they can, calculating the risk. But at what cost here? The cost of Aziz's life, as he was trying to navigate on down to the mid side where ZOL Ragnar were aware of his push.
Yes.
Cutting him up before he can breathe life into this round yet again. ZOL Ragnar, they got the 5 versus 4. They don't even need to push on down. They can just leave Taichi all on his lonesome. And he can just go on in. But Georgie, even though he's tagged, he wants to fight. He wants blood. He's feeling it. Papunta doon sa may nest pa lang. You just know how big this guy's cojones can be. Is he navigating on towards the CT side as well? Habang ang mga players ng South Built doon sa may A main nagna-navigate, inahanap ang one-tap galing dito kay Georgie. All the way over from downtown, and he's just not done. A double kill from Georgie despite a lot of effort from Taichi. They already gave away the side papunta dito sa South Built. Kaso nga lang, Jumps picking up the frag kay Georgie. The Boracay Jet is dead. A 1 versus 3 habang ginagamit ni Papi Chulo ang Viper Spit. But ZOL Ragnar, they still have the numbers advantage dito.
Exactly. Viper Spit against them as well. Papi Chulo here reveals himself. Nakahanap ng isa dito. Jumps making his way towards that pit. Papi Chulo thins out the herd. 1v1. Jumps. No way! It up. No, he can't. Papi Chulo puts South Built again on the board with the ROG clutch.
No way! How did he isolate them?
I don't
He
know.
wasn't even in his Viper Spit. He climbed out of it. And it was Georgie to start it with. The push onto CT just to find that frag onto Josh F, limiting the options for utility for our players on ZOL Ragnar. Maybe that was the fact. But the fact that Papi Chulo got this frag without this Viper Spit is just amazing. Out from one of the oldest players dito sa South Built Esports. Well done. And this could be enough to kick the last nail in the coffin for ZOL Ragnar. Since that was one of the last buy rounds, they have to feel the pressure this time.
Yeah, no timeouts anymore. Aziz with an opening pick as well. Shintaro at least nakasagot siya dito against Georgie, but still not done. Wes with an answer. And again, South Built, they make their way into the site. A 3v3 this time for the retake. But as you mentioned, the guns are just not here for ZOL. And hindi nila pwedeng makuha yung mga barrel na shutdown nila dito. A lot of presence here toward mid. They have to take down Aziz. The defense here in the double doors. Pero the Hunter's Fury not working out. The 4K for Aziz. Can he get the ace? No, he don't have to. South Built at match point.
Match point, series point para ma-knockdown yung ZOL Ragnar into the lower bracket. And if they were trying to make the name for themselves, well, they're about to lose against South Built Esports, who are playing this Breeze map into almost perfection, where they're able to fight off yung mga attempts at ZOL Ragnar on retakes. And they're even dominating them on the eco rounds. The discipline, you can see it. The maturity from South Built, it's different against ZOL Ragnar, who are yet to actually flourish dito pa lang sa ating match. So, this is the last chance that they have, but the fact that they do not have that many to work with, This B-side push, oh no, you're trying to delay the inevitable.
Yes.
Shintaro though, at least he gets one dito kay Aziz to slow things down para sa South Built, but Georgie, oh no, he's in a lot of trouble as Shintaro picks up the frag from the recon dart out, a double out from the Jet, and West to follow with another. A 2 versus 5 in South Built Esports. They're not able to plant onto the B side. As long as they get picks, it's doable, but Shintaro, it
Chulo.
forces out the 1v4 para kay Papi Chulo, who has to clutch up big against 4 people who are already looking towards his direction and even flanking behind him.
But this is Papi Chulo we're talking about, that fam. You can never count him out, especially in these miracle scenarios. Flash comes out just to make sure that they get him. And there you have it, Snake decapitated here by Josh F. But South Built, it's still looking pretty good for them, all things considered. There's still no wiggle room here para sa ZOL Ragnar. 7-12 match point is what they're facing here. And South Built Esports, as you mentioned yourself, that fam, they're looking pretty composed. This discipline that they have, there's no shortcut to getting it. It only comes with experience. And South Built Esports, they've got years and years and years of experience dito, no? It's at full show as well. But ZOL Ragnar, they got a glimpse of hope there when they isolated Georgie. That could be the key for them to extend this series further.
Pwede. Kayang-kaya para dito sa mga players sa ZOL Ragnar as long as they believe they can try to frag out,
no.
especially an opening onto Georgie. That's huge. But Aziz and Papi Chulo, they already navigated themselves out of this Viper, and now they got the Viper spit. Shintaro and West to trade it all up. Pro, he's the one who forces out the 2 versus 2 and even falling onto the spike doon sa may pyramids area pa lang. Papi Chulo at saka si Pro, sila na lang yung nadadalawa. Pero yung Viper spit, it's out of place. So they have to navigate outside of it. Josh F at saka si Shintaro na lang para sa ZOL Ragnar, giving away yung spike plant doon sa may right pyramids. They already got the objective confirmed. Pro to try to navigate himself outside of this pyramid area. Papi Chulo to get a double as Shintaro, he's running around. Nilabas na ang Blade Storm at nag-iisa na lang si Pro. Nilabas na agad yung isa sa mga Cloudburst. Try na lang i-fake pero rinig na rinig kung saan nag-navigate, nag-move itong si Shintaro. Recon dart sa loob pero nandito pa rin yung half. Alam niyang wala na doon sa defuse itong si Shintaro. Nilabas ang Vandal. Wala yung shot doon sa Blade Storm. Pero nakapag-adjust si Shintaro with a triple kill and another win for ZOL Ragnar, extending the game into the Breeze map.
Still very, very shaky though. Shintaro, ilang beses siyang nag-tap, pero he's kept making noise. It's still very close because you can see the nerves building up dito sa players ng ZOL Ragnar. They're still slowly starting to lose composure. And when you see signs of that on Shintaro, the most consistent player dito in terms of providing space for ZOL Ragnar, that's when you know that this team is getting shaken up. This is where it gets really, really scary for ZOL Ragnar. Not because it's already match point, but because their players are getting ahead of themselves. It's getting, the nerves are starting to show. At least they buy themselves a little bit of time, but they have to keep doing that over and over again 4 times. They have to keep it in their control. They have to keep this game in their control. Shintaro back on the up though, and that's one of the things that South Built could take for granted here.
I mean, he's already known for being that op player. But South Built Esports, you nailed it right on the head. They can play around it. They have played with a lot of top-tier teams that play around the same play style. So Ja, he just has to confirm where the op is, and they run away over to the other side of the map where they basically already set up anyway. Georgie with the opening doon sa may mid-tunnel pa lang. Ja to follow with the pick onto West as well. And that was from the Hall's push where you also got Georgie opening up the tunnels area. The light outside of that tunnel has already been taken out of the pictures. Joms, he's the one who frags out Georgie while leaving the fact that ZOL Ragnar are feeling the pressure. Taichi left alone. A 1v4. He has a Phantom, but he's losing to a Vandal. He has his bullet with his name on it, and suddenly it becomes a 2-0 victory for South Built Esports.
Ice cold in their veins. The reigning champs, South Built, still secure their win and assert their dominance against the young guns. That is ZOL Ragnar. Very beautiful stuff here from the squad. And I have to say, it's just consistent performance from all of the players from South Belt that carried that victory over towards their side. But man, oh man, what a banger of a series dito. That Femina, so much highlight plays from both squad. You can absolutely see just how much effort they put into this matchup specifically.
Oh man, I mean, there's just too many to count out of this series alone, especially in that Banger Breeze map, man. We already talked about this being an aim duel heavy map, and it definitely delivered in that regard. Clutches from Papi Chulo, multi-frags from Shinkaro, who can actually frag out when you have himself be put in that pedestal. Plus, to follow up, Georgie, he has been, I'm not going to say consistent because we've been putting that word out too much. He's machine, a fragging machine for Built Esports. He's always delivered from the asset map pa lang at kinary over, na translate agad yung aggression nila mas agad doon pa lang sa first round where he